2, 3.5. So I don't know, that is about 8 feet away, maybe 9. So we're about 8 feet apart here. There's the Mandalorian, and here's the iPhone. Okay, first up here, shooting with FiLMiC Pro. I've got the Tele Lens selected, and I'm shooting log V3 as well. And we'll roll on a clip and see how this compares to the other lenses and then the DOF adapter. Cutting. Okay, and now I've got a Moment lens on here, and the Moment lens is on the 12 Pro Max wide. And so the benefit to this is the wide lens is a 1.6, an aperture of f1.6. The previous shot, the Tele lens is an aperture of f2. So wider aperture, you get more shallow depth of field. So now we'll take a shot here of Mando using the 12 Pro Max and the Moment Tele on the wide. And cut. Now I'm going to switch this up, and I'm going to put the Moment Tele on the iPhone Tele. And now in FiLMiC Pro, I need to switch the lens to the Tele, and that's the shot. So I need to tilt up a little bit so you can really see how much further that zooms in, so to speak, using the Tele on the Tele. And so I'll roll on this. And cut. Okay, and the final look here. This is with the full rig, the Beastgrip DOF. I'm using an 85mm lens, got a follow focus unit on here, and got Mando framed up. Nice shallow depth of field, very cinematic looking shot. So we'll give it a go. And just as a reminder, I am shooting everything in FiLMiC Pro Log V3, 4K, 24 frames per second. And cut. And just for kicks now as a comparison, I've got my Blackmagic Pocket Cinema 4K camera. I got the same Midicon 85mm lens that I had on the iPhone and the Beastgrip DOF on the Blackmagic camera. It's considerably tighter. This is a micro four thirds camera, but I'm using a Metabones speed booster on there. And so it makes it like it's a Super 35 sensor, but it's still tighter than the iPhone. So now we'll roll on this. And cut. In this first shot of the Tele lens by itself, the built-in lens, there is no shallow depth of field at all. To get some shallow depth of field, I would need to move closer. And the same pretty much goes for this shot with the wide lens and the Moment 58mm Tele. Although, if you look really closely, there is some out of focus background. There is a little bit of shallow depth of field. If I would have moved a couple feet closer, you would see some pretty good shallow depth of field, again, because the wide lens has the wider aperture and it has the larger sensor in the 12 Pro Max. And now here's where things can get pretty interesting. This is the iPhone Tele with the Moment Tele, so Tele on Tele. And you're obviously getting some really nice shallow depth of field. So this is a pretty cool way to achieve this with just a phone and a simple external lens. But then of course, if you want to take it to the next step, using the built-in wide lens and the Beastgrip DOF adapter. This kind of a shot looks like a traditional camera might. And so for people wanting this kind of look, this is an option. And I think this can work really well for shooting interviews like documentary or corporate video. You could use this as a B camera against, for example, a Blackmagic camera. And that's what this is. So the Blackmagic camera using the same lens looks like this. It's a tighter shot than the previous, but it actually matches pretty closely to the iPhone Tele on Tele. Now don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that the Blackmagic camera and the iPhone 12 Pro Max are the same. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying they're very similar in this scenario. And so now here are each lens compared to the iPhone with the DOF adapter on there. You got the built-in Tele lens on the left and the DOF adapter on the right. Big difference in this kind of shot when it comes to shallow depth of field. The other thing the DOF adapter does, and using an external lens, is it softens the image some, and I mean softens it in a good way. It takes that digital edge of the phone off. And remember too, on the 12 Pro Max, that the Tele lens is a 65mm, so it is a longer lens, although the aperture is 2.2, so you have some trade-offs there. All right, well, I thought that was pretty interesting. I mean, I knew the DOF adapter would have the most shallow depth of field, but I like seeing it compared to the regular lenses and the Moment lens. And then of course the Blackmagic camera. Those have a pretty similar look. I think depending on what you're shooting, you could definitely pair those up. One other quick note is I used Cinematch from Film Convert, and I transformed the FiLMiC Pro Log V3 to Arri Log C using Cinematch. And then I did the color grading from there. And I gotta say, I really like those results. I'm gonna be doing more about Cinematch, Film Convert, my LUTs, etc., and Log V3 in some upcoming videos. Thanks for watching, guys. This is Blake Calhoun. Please like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.